Let's do a quick health check. So everybody just take your hand and put underneath your chin. See if your lymph glands are swollen. Now, please don't check any of your other glands until you're by yourselves, please. Now, if they are, it could mean you have an infection. But we all have a serious condition that doesn't cause any of our glands to swell up or any other physical symptom. We have DAF, directed attention fatigue. And although there is no cure, well, here's the thing. Herzog and Strebe first described this in 2008. And what it does to us is it reduces our ability to focus. So I'm asking you to stop thinking about the very next thing you're going to do on your phone and try to stay with me for at least a few seconds. It increases performance errors. Performance errors. It makes it hard for us to plan things, and it makes us mean, snarky. Don't you think Brian should sort of look in the mirror before he leaves the house in the morning? And it makes us irritable. So, does this sound like you? Or maybe every working adult you know? Okay, John, so what's doing this to us? Well, our personal lives are doing this to us. Society and world events are doing this to us. Even our beloved employers are doing this to us. We expend so much mental energy throughout the day that our brains become chronically fatigued with overuse. Now, when I saw the 35,000-year-old cave painting at Peshmerle in southern France, it was one of the most moving experiences of my life. I could just see our ancient ancestors standing in that cave and performing that irresistible human act of creativity by painting on the cave wall. Now, let's compress 2 million years of human history into, say, like one lifetime. Okay? So we would have been painting on the cave wall when we were just 1 year old, which is a little younger than my kids were when they discovered how fun it was to paint on our walls. But the DAF problem, as Cecily Mahler described in 2006, is that we human beings, we've been successfully adapting to our natural environment for thousands of years, but we haven't lived in these urban settings for very long at all. So in our compressed timeline, we don't move to an urban setting until our 69th birthday. Now, there may not be a cure for directed attention fatigue, but there is a treatment. But to get it, you have to walk away from it all. Abandon everything and everyone. And the natural world, the wilderness, is just waiting to be your therapist. Now, there are all kinds of wilderness. But I've been climbing mountains and hiking high country trails since 1980. And in my view, the best DAF therapy there is backpacking or trekking. And as therapies go, there's no hourly fee. But before you can get the help you need, you have to deserve it. So you need 3 things: humility, ability, and safety. So humility opens that door to the wilderness experience. So your homework is to look up the word arrogance on Wikipedia. And if you find a link in the references section to your personal Facebook page, then you're probably a lost cause. But for the rest of us, the next thing we need is the ability to do it. Now I wonder, did you just automatically underestimate the ability of your 2 good feet to carry you and a backpack to your therapy appointment? Well, look at me. I'm an old man. And nobody's going to be asking me to pose for one of those muscle posters you see in the doctor's office, right? And I don't need to put on expensive, stretchy clothes and go to the gym to get ready for hiking. I can just put on comfortable clothes and walk. And for safety, it's this cool combination of ancient technology and skill with modern. So you learn how to use a map and a compass, and then you get a GPS device and rent a satellite phone for emergencies. So, I dare you, I double dog dare you to walk away from it all into the bosom of nature for long enough that the wilderness experience can work its magic. Now, this is no vacation. It's a retreat. You got to plan to be out there for at least 5 to 7 days. So your body can adjust to the altitude, your senses can get saturated with all that natural stimuli, and most importantly, so your thoughts can run free. It's like a little kid. When you bring a little kid to a wide open space, they can't help themselves. They just get this big grin on their face. They go, what's over there? What's over here? Now, my personal experiences include stopping on the trail after a long uphill slog. I'm panting, my heart's beating like a bunny rabbit. I'm soaked in sweat, looking just like something a bear pulled out of the water in its teeth. But then I slowly notice where I am. It starts with that whisper of wind in the valleys, and the sound of water that's running in streams and down falls. And then the resplendent sight and scent of wildflowers and plants and trees. And all of this is framing this vast vista of mountains that have been pushed up by tectonic and volcanic forces and then sculpted by giant glaciers over the eons. I get emotional up there, out where I don't have to be self-conscious. In fact, I've been known to just stand there with my arms out and just yell, yes! And I have drunk no water from a fancy bottle that's given me as much pleasure as drinking the water that comes gushing out from underneath a permanent snowfield at the base of a mountain peak. And if I catch my reflection in that water, well, I always laugh. Dude, you take yourself way too seriously. And you should look in the mirror before you leave the tent in the morning. Now, on every trip at some point, I am visited by grief. But I welcome it. Because in the wilderness, grief seems more like honor than despair. And tears that fall on natural ground, well, they're just never wasted. And I can go in my backyard in Sacramento, California at night, and I can see a few stars. But lying on my back in the high country on a granite bench where there's no light pollution, the celestial display is so enormous. The stars so numerous, I can actually feel the incomprehensible wonder of it filling me up. So after you've walked away from it all and had this wonderful experience, you'll be a better version of yourself, having renewed your capacity for wonder and rekindled the love you have for yourself and others, and regained your focus and creativity. So when you return to your home and to your projects at work, you'll be freshly able to perform the modern equivalent of that sacred ancient act of painting on the cave wall.